The green, palm-fringed coasts, limpid lagoons, placid lakes, verdant hills, and terraced valleys make Kerala one of the most colorful places, which is indeed an artist's delight. It was in such a backdrop of variegated colors in Kilimanur, a village in Kerala, was born on 29th of April 1848 the Prince of Color, a would-be genius and the doyen of modern Indian painting, Raja Ravi Varma. The village Kilimanur was gifted as a fief to one Kartika Tirunal by the ruler of Travancore for his valor and loyalty. A scion of this feudal house, Ravi Varma's fame, like rays of the rising sun, made an otherwise modest Kilimanur known much beyond the Sahara ranges. Ravi Varma had an exalted parentage. His father, Erumavel Neelakanthan Bhattatiripada, was a scholar of Vedas and Sanskrit law. Mother, Uma Ambabai Thampurathi, was a poetess of eminence who composed a work for the traditional Ottantolal dance. Ravi Varma's formative years were thus spent in a cultural and scholastic ambience. As a precocious child, Ravi showed signs of his latent acumen for painting through drawings on rock, soil, and walls of his house. Ravi Varma's real initiation in color came through his uncle, Raja Varma, an amateur painter himself. Impressed by Ravi's talent, he taught him rudiments of picture making. The art of painting has an interesting beginning according to Indian mythology. Usha, the charming daughter of Vanasura, the demon king, once saw in her dream the scene of courtship between Lord Shiva and Parvati. This evoked a romantic passion in her. Parvati blessed Usha that in her dreams she would meet a handsome young prince Aniruddha. Who would be her lover? When awake, Usha could not see Aniruddha before her. She told her companion, Chitralekha, to search for her Prince Charming and bring him back to her. On Usha's description, Chitralekha drew a picture of Aniruddha. This is considered as the first work of painting. Later, Raja Ravi Varma painted this first act of painting in his famous work Usha and Aniruddha. As a child, Ravi would run to the lap of Mother Nature, listening to her soliloquy in the sounds of breaking waves. Having a contemplative bent of mind, he would at once be in communion with the bountiful manifestations of nature. He tried to reproduce the panorama of nature. In 1862, at the age of 13, a great turning point came in Ravi's life. Ravi was taken to the Travancore court to participate in a royal swamvaram, a ceremony where the bride chooses her own groom. In the court, Ravi gave an all-round display of his talent. He recited shlokas from the Vedas, performed Kathakali, sang from padas, and painted with an uncanny dexterity. Though the king, Alien Tirunal, was deeply impressed by the amazing talent of the young prodigy, he was not selected, as he was a shade too dark for the choice as a groom. The king, being an enlightened patron of arts, sent for the boy once again. Ravi was escorted to the palace with some of his paintings. stay in Thiruvananthapuram Palace instantly exposed him to the great repository of Indian and European paintings. Wandering through the corridors and halls, he could see the remnants of exquisite and traditional woodcraft of Kerala. He also witnessed colorful royal processions and various traditional performances during the festivities. The opportunity to gaze upon the beautiful women attired in typical Kerala fashion that later formed the typology of the feminine figures seen in Ravi Varma's paintings. Padmanabha Swami Temple was a treasure trove of murals. Murals depicting themes of Ananta Shayanam, Gopi Krishna, Nataraj, Raj Rajeshwari and others, which he saw there left an indelible impression on him. The insurmountable Sahara ranges and the inviolable sea had thrust a geographical isolation on Kerala, which extended to the style of painting seen there, as it could develop independent of pan-Indian influences. The origin of painting in Kerala can be traced to the art of drawing pictures of gods and goddesses on temple floors with 5 different colors. The traditional artist in Kerala used ivory, palm leaves, glass and fresco as surfaces for painting. The art of painting that had almost hit the nadir in Kerala during the 18th century revived when the Maratha court of Tanjore was dissolved, and some of those court artists reached Travancore in search of patronage. These artists brought with them the canvas, a hitherto unknown picture surface. They also brought the Tanjore style of painting, which was a hybrid from Western and local styles. Ravi Varma was greatly influenced by this style of painting. Travancore court painters were familiar with water and herbal color. The potentials of oil as a medium was revealed only when Ramaswamy Naicker, a portrait painter in the Western style, introduced it in Travancore. Oil as a medium revolutionized the art of picture making by adding the 3rd dimension to the pictures, and thus giving a reality to their forms and vision. By the end of the 19th century, the techniques of optical accuracy reached the shores of Kerala through albums of European painters, which were obtained by the royal households. As an upcoming artist, Ravi Varma studied these albums with the catholicity of an apprentice. Though Ravi Varma's ability to convey likenesses improved to the degree of appeal, yet the artist had to contend with water and herbal dyes, which did not give him the desired result. Desperate Ravi, who was experimenting with oil, approached Ramaswamy Nayaka, seeking his advice on its nuances. Nayaka declined, seeing in him a potential rival. But some help came from Armugam Pillai, an apprentice under Nayaka, who visited Ravi Varma's studio at night, under the cover of darkness, to avoid the wrath of his master. Thus, Ravi Varma's struggle at self-instruction continued. In 1866, at the age of 18, marriage of Ravi Varma with Pururutatti Nal Thampurathi put him in close contact with Kerala Varma, a renowned Malayalam poet. He presented the young artist with his first box of oil colors, fulfilling his cherished desire. In 1868, Theodor Jensen, a fortune seeker and Dutch portrait painter, visited the Travancore court. Jensen's royal patron told him to train his court painter, Ravi Varma, in the Western art of oil painting. Jensen did not oblige. He, however, allowed Ravi to watch while he painted. Ravi Varma waged a lone battle for 14 long years. Through the process of permutation and combination and self-reliance, he finally mastered the art of mixing oil colors, drawing things in a linear perspective, use of chiaroscuro, and the method of making portraits. The portraits and the portrait-based compositions form an important segment of the whole repertoire of Ravi Varma's paintings. far excels not only his contemporaries, but also artists of later years in portraiture in the oil medium. He could add an extraordinary grace to the sitter's personality, like adding fragrance to the flower. Ravi Varma captured minute details, like different shades of complexion, individual facial expressions, and even textures of different fabrics, rendering a rare tactile quality. Several portraits painted by Ravi Varma were commissioned by the royals, nobles, and other wealthy patrons. But a humanist to the core, who loved the world of men, Ravi Varma often picked up his subjects from the commonplace. Man with Lamp is one such painting. Having mastered the art of portrait making, it was time for Ravi Varma to express his gratitude towards his patron, Ailiam Tirunal, and his consort. His pictures far excelled in quality the work of a visiting European artist painted years earlier. Being pleased, Tirunal presented the artist with Veera Shringala, or the Bangle of Honor, a rare distinction. Lord Hobart, the then governor of Madras, had organized a fine arts exhibition in 1873. Ravi Varma and other prominent Indian and European artists participated. Ravi received lots of accolades and won a gold medal for his painting, Nayar Woman with Jasmine Flower in her hair. The art of photography and portrait making came to India almost simultaneously. This revolutionized the whole domain of optic realism. The Rajas and Maharajas in India, with their great propensity for brightness and vivacity, found photography dull and rather uninspiring. So the opulence and grandeur of a portrait in oil remained unmatched. Ravi Varma was invited by the Rana of Udaipur to make a portrait of the legendary Maharana Pratap of Mewar. It was a daunting task, as there was no reference point of the Maharana. Ravi Varma used a Rajput model, matching the physical features of Rana Pratap. He made the model pose for him, wearing the personal armor and costumes of the Maharana. A suitable background was selected, and then produced the legendary painting of the Maharana, which till date evokes patriotism and valor in every Indian heart. Ravi Varma first visited Mysore in 1885. The Maharaja, Chama Rajendra Bodiyar, who had heard about the painter's magic brushes, treated him with great reverence, like a royal guest. He requested the painter to draw a family portrait. Ravi Varma obliged by painting a life-size portrait of the royal family. The most accomplished of Ravi Varma's Mysore paintings are Rama breaking Shiva's bow, Lady in Moonlight, Galaxy of Musicians, and Victory of Indrajit. Ravi Varma also had a deep insight into the woman's psyche. His nimble brush touched her emotions, her love, her despair, her insecurity, her sensibility, and her sensuousness in such an understanding way that was not found in the work of earlier artists. Ravi Varma chose his female subjects from all social strata, cutting across castes, creeds, and regions. Even with a cursory look at any of his paintings, one cannot miss the beauty and the grace of women intrinsic in these paintings. The weapons in their hands, their posture, and the expression of these figures question our established notions regarding Ravi Varma's depiction of women. In 1880, Ravi's patron, Ailian Tirunal, passed away. The successor, King Vishakam Tirunal, was not favorably disposed towards him. So, Ravi took up an invitation to attend the investiture ceremony of Maharaja Sayaji Rao III of Baroda in 1881 and left Travancore. Baroda played a crucial role in the overall progression of Raja Ravi Varma's career. Some of its most important creations either took shape there or were done at the behest of his new patrons in Baroda. In Baroda, he was also commissioned to paint a whole range of paintings based on Indian mythology. He visited places connected with Indian mythology and classical literature before starting the project. This helped him to know about the ancient Indian costumes and traditions. The themes chosen by him were from the great epics, extolled in songs and legends reverberating through generations. Shakuntala, the foster daughter of the sage Kanva, fell in love with King Dushyant when he once came to the sage's ashram while hunting. On the pretext of taking out a thorn from her foot, she looks back to catch a glimpse of Dushyant. The painter was deeply touched by Kalidasa's epic creation Abhigyan Shakuntalam and painted a series on her life. deft treatment, he humanized these legends and made them popular household characters, like Nal Damayanti, Bharat and the Lion Cub, Krishna as Envoy, Mohini and Rukmangada. These are some of the famous paintings of Ravi Varma based on mythological legends. Ravi Varma had a great sense of appropriateness about the clothes and ornaments worn by the characters he painted. He traveled countrywide to decide what could be the best dress for both his mythological and other feminine characters. Being a nationalist, he settled for the sari. It is a tribute to his aesthetic sense that the charm of his heroines draped in a sari in a way inspired the young women in India to adopt it as their national dress. Brilliant synthetic colors gave Ravi Varma's palette the necessary brightness and vivacity to create a range of lustrous impasted jewelry and brocaded textures. Ravi Varma had a unique method of working. He would wake up in the unearthly hours of night. At crack of dawn, he would enter his studio. Then he would listen to recitations from scriptures and Puranas with his brother Rajaraja Varma. He often sketched the concepts thus evolved on canvas. And then take to brush to complete the painting. His studio was open for people. They could offer suggestions. Once he was sketching a sitting boy, but made him stand on the onlooker's suggestion. Ravi Varma mostly looked for vignettes from all around. He was one of the pioneers to use models for his compositions. The models he selected would sit and pose before him. He first drew their sketches, then gradually transcended these models from mundane to celestial levels through the touch of his brush. Ravi Varma was not touched by the orthodoxy of his time and painted his own daughter in Here Comes Papa. He also used faces akin to his daughter for some of his other famous paintings. Ravi Varma often selected his models during his tours to various places. In Bombay, he had a chance introduction with Anjani Bai, the prima donna of Parsi stage and guru of reputed singer Begum Akhtar. An exquisitely beautiful woman, she modeled as Damayanti, Radha and some of his other classical paintings. Beauty incarnate, Menka's attempts to break the meditation of sage Vishwamitra by enticing him with a captivating charm and dance has been portrayed through the diabolical and rhythmic presentation on stage. A romantic background has been created on the curtain, with snow-clad mountains, pine trees and streams. Characters are all superscribed before an immobile illusionist stage. Being a painter of neoclassical sensibility, Ravi Varma often preferred to capture such dramatic episodes from the epics in his paintings. In Draupadi, at the court of Virat, he opted for a very formal stage setting, as if the painting is a scene from a theatrical performance. Characters are presented on various levels, divided by columns with accompanying paraphernalia of draperies and canopies. One unique feature of these paintings was the immediate suspension of action after a climatic moment. This intensified a particular mood or emotion, as in Jatayuvadam, conceived and executed so theatrically. In 1893, two of India's most illustrious sons, Swami Vivekananda and Raja Ravi Varma, took the world by storm in Chicago. Through his entries to an international art exhibition, he bagged 2 medals and diplomas. Ravi Varma showed the world the sophistication and classical heritage of Indian painting. The pantheon of Hindu gods and goddesses also inspired Ravi Varma's creative instinct. Unlike other painters before him, he gave them a human face and draped them in human attires. These were a class apart, and they became popular throughout the country. And the painter could hardly keep up with the demand. To meet the nationwide demand, it was suggested by Sir T. Madhav Rao, the Diwan of Baroda, that he get some selected works oleographed in Germany. Instead, he set up his own lithography press in Bombay in 1894 and churned out thousands of copies of his paintings for placing them within the reach of masses. Oleographs are the precursors of the calendars. Ravi Varma is the pioneer in calendar art. His oleographs and calendars immediately found their way to the puja rooms of every Hindu household. They decorate a majority of homes even today. These were the nascent years of nationalism and Swadeshi. Ravi Varma helped this cause through his paintings. They aroused pride in every Indian heart by evoking the past glories based on our classics and mythologies and historical celebrities like Maharana Pratap and Shivaji. Ravi Varma also created on his canvas women's images that typify the underlying strength of unity and diversity in India. Cinema, as a medium, ushered in the age of visual movement. Raja Ravi Varma was the cultural frontrunner to Dadasaheb Phalke, the father of Indian cinema. Phalke was greatly influenced by the themes and images created by Ravi Varma. In the set construction of Phalke's films, the influence of Ravi Varma's paintings was too obvious to be missed. Works of other contemporary filmmakers similarly bore the mark of Ravi Varma.
तुमच्या म्हणण्याला काही पुरावा? ठीक आहे.
Costumes and ornaments used by them were very much modeled after Ravi Varma's paintings.
पण आपल्या मनासारखं नाही झालं वाटतं.
अगं तू मी काय दोन आहोत?
Effects of light and shade used in these films was also a contribution of Ravi Varma's chiaroscuro paintings. Thus, the images created by Ravi Varma broke free from the shackles of the canvas and moved on to the cinema screen in almost every sector. The painter's series on Shakuntala can be seen in V. Shantaram's film on this classical character. The film posters of those days were also greatly influenced by the oleographs of Ravi Varma. The saga of Ravi Varma would be incomplete without a special mention about C. Rajaraja Varma, his brother, 12 years younger than him. A painter of repute in his own right, he complimented his brother Ravi Varma well. He followed him like a shadow and trusted lieutenant. He maintained a diary which gives a first-hand account of many important incidents in Raja Ravi Varma's life. His brother, C. Varma, died in 1904. This completely shattered Ravi Varma. He lost all motivation and almost became a recluse. In 1905, Ravi Varma was however persuaded to visit Mysore once again. There he was in the retinue of the visiting Prince of Wales. His Mysore visit was the last assignment of his life. His last painting, the Mysore Kheda, remained unfinished due to his failing health. He returned to Kilimanur in February 1906 and after a protracted illness breathed his last on 2nd October that year. Thus, he left the world of color that he had inherited as a prince and reigned as its undisputed monarch for about 50 years. Today, realism is established as a valid and vibrant approach to aesthetics. Raja Ravi Varma was the foremost pioneer of the Indian Renaissance for introducing the magic of realism in the domain of Indian paintings. He struggled and succeeded in introducing great new and alien elements in Indian paintings, elements that were pertinent to the world scene. In his quest for a national identity, he gave a new vision to Indian classical characters. Princess Damayanti and King Nal exchanged infatuated messages through a swan. Love-lorn Damayanti is waiting for the swan impatiently. When the swan returns, she exchanges her sentiments with him. The painter-artist has portrayed Damayanti and Swan in a conversation piece. Ravi Varma evolved a visual language that is modern but culturally Indian. He gave us the sensibility to stand on our own soil. Raja Ravi Varma, the morning star of modern Indian painting, thus lives in the Indian psyche with the eternal images created by him.
Thank you.